Yeah. Whoa. Runner. There he goes. There he goes. Yeah. Whoa. Runner. Oh. Oh, you're a big one. Oh my goodness. Oh, let's put you in a. Let's get you in a net here. Because you are nice. You are a big one. Oh, you might be. You just might be. Oh, wow. I can't even get my hand around it. Oh my goodness. This one might be. It's probably at least 9. Come here, open your mouth. Wow, I can lip this one. That's a good sign. Look at that. Look at the size of that. Whew. Oh, 10 and a half. 10 and a half. Master angler. Woo. All right, we got to get a weight on this one then. I'm going to put you back in the net for now so I can get out of the... So I can move out of the spot here. Back out of the spot. Get my scale. Gotta weigh him. 10.5 inch. Nice. Gotta make sure to get a picture. £1 even. 1 pound even. Yeah, that was quite a bluegill. Now I know they get a little bigger in other parts of the country, but here in Iowa, anything over 10 inches or better, is considered a master angler qualifying fish for a bluegill. I caught my first master angler fish on July 19th of last year, 2022. And since then, over a 351-day period, I've caught another 25 for a total of 26 master angler fish between bluegill, crappie, and yellow perch. Also caught 3 pretty big grass carp, but grass carp isn't a species that they count towards that master angler program. Caught a bunch of bass, came close. I think it's 20 or 21 inches for a largemouth bass in this state, and I think I missed by about a half an inch. And it's been great. But the story, and the story I'd like to share with you in this episode, isn't really about the fish, or the size of the fish, or how many fish. It's how the fishing came about. I moved to Iowa from Southern California about 6 years ago. Came out here to be part of a church here in the Davenport area, to serve the church as a full-time evangelist out on the streets. And when we moved here to Davenport, I soon realized that within 10 to 15 minutes of my house, there are a half a dozen bodies of water to fish, not including streams or creeks or the Mississippi River, which is only a couple of miles away. But various size lakes and reservoirs, there's water all over the place, something I was not accustomed to coming from the desert region of Southern California. And not long after, maybe a couple of years ago, probably a couple of years ago, maybe even a little less than that. I began to notice that not only are there all kinds of public waters, but as I was driving through the countryside, I was seeing ponds everywhere. Ponds in people's front yards, ponds on farms. Again, just water everywhere. So I began to wonder, I wonder if pond owners will allow strangers to come onto their property and fish their ponds. So, who better to ask than native Iowans on some of the Facebook fishing pages that I follow. And so I asked the question, hey, what does one do to get the permission of a pond owner to allow a stranger to fish on their pond? And I was almost laughed off the pages. Most of the people kind of chuckled. You must be new. How long have you lived in Iowa? And the consensus was, not 100% agreement, but the consensus was that no, most pond owners aren't going to let you fish their ponds. They want to protect their own fisheries, and it just takes a knucklehead to go on there and disrespect the property to ruin it for everybody. And so, yeah, you might as well not even try. And so I took their word for it. After all, I'd only lived in Iowa for a short number of years, and so I just kind of put it aside, just kind of forgot about it. Well, one day, a little over a year ago, probably May of last year, a friend of mine who also moved from Southern California to Iowa saw some of my posts on Facebook about fishing. And so he private messaged me and he said, hey, Tony, I've got a 4-year-old son. I've only been fishing once, and that was when I was a little boy. I'd like to take my son fishing. Would you come out here? And he lives in the Des Moines area, about 180 miles away. So would you come out here and take me and my son on our first fishing trip? So I said, yeah, you bet. I'd love to do that. Well, not knowing anything about the waters around Des Moines, I went back to these same Facebook pages and asked the question, where should I take a dad who really has never fished before and his 4-year-old son in the Des Moines area where I can make sure that they catch something on their first fishing trip? And people responded with lots of good suggestions, some good details, and wish me luck. And I was very appreciative of that. Then one person commented and said, hey, Tony, and total stranger to me, and I a total stranger to him. He commented and said, Tony, I like what you want to do for this father and son. Why don't you come out to my pond? I have about 1.5 acre pond on my property filled with fish. I'm confident they'll catch something. Come on out. And so over the course of the next couple of weeks, as preparing to make this trip, I got to know the pond owner via Facebook and text messages, phone calls, and they came and we went out to his pond. And sure enough, we not only caught fish, but we caught monster bluegill. The 4-year-old lasted about an hour or so. I had a couple more hours to myself out there on the pond, and it was wonderful. Some of the best bluegill fishing I've ever experienced in my life. Well, that pond owner and I have become friends, and I would say close friends. And since that time, I have been back to his pond many times. I took my granddaughter out there, my nephew, brother from the church went out there. I've been out there to fish with him, both on the open water and on the ice, and it's been great. And since then, I have met pond owners from Jasper County, Muscatine County, Cedar County, Davis County, Louisa County, Van Buren County, all of them giving me permission to fish on their waters, and I didn't initiate the contact with any of them. With any of them. They've all become friends, good friends. I've come to find that we all have a common bond of our faith in Jesus Christ. They understand the ministry aspect, not only understand, but support the ministry aspect of my fishing as I take people out, and oftentimes that presents opportunities to share the gospel with people, provide fish for families in my church. My wife and I, over the last month or so, have begun providing fish fillets for some of the needy families in the community. And it has just been a remarkable example of God's gracious providence in allowing me to fish private ponds all over eastern, central, and southern Iowa. And through those various contacts, they have in turn told people about me and my fishing, that I'll come down and survey their ponds and maybe make some suggestions for how to manage their pond populations, even help them fish them to bring balance into those ponds. And again, none of it was opportunities that I initiated, but that were initiated by others. And so I'm very thankful for that. And so I wanted to share this one catch, which is an example of the blessings I've received over this last year, to meet people, become friends with them, and to be able to fish their waters. I thank God for all of that, and I thank each of these pond owners who have become dear friends. One of the pond owners, my wife and I, today, July 6th, we're celebrating our 38th wedding anniversary. Thank you very much. Contacted one of the pond owners and said, "Hey, I'd like to bring my wife out Saturday, fish off your dock, and just spend the afternoon out there with my wife with a line in the water holding hands. Would that be all right with you?" And the text came back within seconds. "Congratulations, you bet, anytime." And I'm just so thankful for that. Thankful to God, and thankful to all of these sweet, kind, generous, hospitable, caring people who have allowed me to fish on their private ponds. So I wanted to share that story with you. Thanks for joining me for this edition of Iowa Panfishing, everybody. Until next time, God bless, and let's go fishing.